like while it's like running.
Holding on to what I know, to everything I've learned. What is real and fabricated? What is wrong? What is my problem? What can I get out of this world that I created? Fighting storms in my head. Don't know where I have been. I'm alone, no one to turn to, no one understands. Shit's too complicated. Away, and I feel like I am someone else. Away, and I feel like I don't know myself, no. Away, and I feel like I don't know my name. And I don't want to live this way. I don't wanna keep on wasting a life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing my mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless. So faceless. So faceless.
Yeah, unknown brain, Marvin Divine, and we back. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Made it through the rain and rain. I turn nothing into something. No more dealing with their assumptions. Cause I do what I gotta do and I know, can't nobody do it like me. All they do is judge me for who I might be. Maybe if they took some time to pick my mind to see that I'm cooler than lemons and iced tea. All I wanna do is live it up with the homies. Everybody really talking as if they know me. But I guess I gotta face it. I'm so tired of being faceless.
I don't wanna keep on wasting a life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing my mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless. So faceless. So faceless.
So faceless.
Alrighty, we are good to go.
All right, hello. Welcome to ACL Week 2 here. We have the Rock Derby here. Rock versus other Rock Bottom Gaming, featuring some of your favorite players, so your favorite grandpas of the scene. We have up in the top lane Jab Shine, Jungle. Was it Scorpior?
Yep.
Scorpior, Celestin in that mid lane, and then the faded duo of Peter P and L9 Scooby Doo. On the other side, we have the Rock Solid, third seed in the group, featuring No Hands Larry top, the one that you might want to be watching out for here. Time Monster in the jungle, Piano G, Jack X, and then Uppies, the support. Here I'm joined by, I'm myself, Terry Senpai, as you know, joined by a faded new guest here on the cast. We have Ali Sir Sandwich Man, also an ACL player, plays support and top lane already. How you doing, Ali?
Hello, hello. Yeah, no, I'm pretty honored to be here to cast some games of these legendary teams. You know, the Rock versus the Rock game. So it's gonna be pretty interesting today.
All right, we'll be hopping in draft pretty soon here as well. Also, thank you, Nana, as well, helping out our third co-caster, producer as well. Are you to get that draft there?
Yes, I
Draft has
do.
started.
We are up.
Yeah, draft has just started. We have Rock, other Rock. Looks like we're seeing a Vladimir ban first out here. Hecarim response for the side of Rock Solid.
Yeah, Hecarim band's pretty smart. Their jungler definitely does play a lot of Hecarim, so it's a pretty good safe ban. You know, getting rid of his comfort pick there.
Here we go. Other Rock opting for a Poppy ban as well. Generally, we don't really see Poppy early bans, but they might have a dash heavy focus. Maybe we see a Rakan out, Yasuo, Yone, that type of champions because of this Poppy early ban.
Then a Jace ban as well. Getting
Mhm.
rid of all of their comfort picks on the other Rock team, so that I would agree that on those bans.
Absolutely. First pick here, we're seeing Senna come out for the side of Rock Solid, I'm guessing. Yeah, for the side
Yep.
of Rock Solid here, Nafiri coming out for other Rock. Senna, a really good pick recently. Just got recently buffed. You see a lot more ADC. Not fasting Senna, actually farming Senna, so we'll see what type of supports they pair it up with. On the other hand, we got Nafiri. Nafiri always a pretty strong pick, and now recently got nerfed in the jungle, but the nerfs weren't substantial enough, so we'll see a lot of Nafiri in the coming weeks. And then pair with Misfortune here, one of the strongest supports in lane, and also very secure. You can't really mess up the Misfortune play here.
Okay, so the classic Senna Tom Kench pick for the Rock team. You know, going back to basics, so it could still be a fasting Senna build, but we'll have to see that later on.
Absolutely, and when you're picking the Senna Tom Kent, you're kind of just pretty happy with scaling. Plan to put the Senna Tom on the weak side. So we have to see what Rock Solid has in store for the top side of here. And we have Graves coming out. We don't see this one too often, but Graves strong early game as well. So it'll be pretty fun to see Brand coming out. This could be support. This could be mid, most likely expecting support here. So Brand Misfortune will do a lot of damage. We'll be able to poke out the Senna Tom, but Senaton, they also do have so much to stand, so we have to see if Brand Misfortune in this bot lane can really put them down.
Yeah, I agree. It's just gonna be a battle of attrition in the bot lane, so if Senna Tom can, you know, out heal, out sustain, not get poked too much, they definitely would deal some damage late game, be quite annoying, so we'll have to see how that will go.
Absolutely. Especially with this Brand Misfortune, it's going to be really hard if they do step up, make a couple of mistakes, right? It'll be really hard for them to function. Both pretty immobile, don't have any dashes, so hopefully we can see some flashy engaged type of champions that can get on top of this Misfortune and Brand and really punish them for that lack of mobility.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, looks like here we got Mel ban, targeted mid lane ban. We may see it in other roles as well, but not expecting too much. This Tom Kench could go top lane as well. Not really expecting it though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Tom Kench top lane blind would be too favorable for their team right now, so we'll just have to see what they pick.
Yeah, and then finally a Dr. Mundo ban. Looking for just a big top lane here. Mundo ban, set ban, most likely they're just targeted bans, but could also be mean that Rock Solid is not looking for a lot of damage. So ban out these big super tanks to make sure they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hovering the Annie pick for rock bottom here, and they do lock in Annie mid, and that's not a bad idea. You know, a lot of almost guaranteed CC and crowd and engage, so that would be pretty good for their team with Nefiri especially. And there comes the cannon hover.
I do have to
Oh,
mention that if one doesn't pick Malphite, are they really the Rock team though?
that is
Right?
true, but how would one pick Malphite into Brandon Annie?
It's gonna be tough. Maybe maybe they're saving it for the pocket pick right at the end here. See who's coming out in that rock in that last game three. But we have Lux coming out in this mid lane here. Nice against Annie. Pretty chill for Lux. She does have a lot of range. Is able to poke at this Annie, outrange the Annie actually. So we'll have to see if they can get that early push in, and if they get that early push, it would be really hard for Annie to rotate work with this Nefiri to find these early picks.
And then comes the Kennen out for top lane for Rock Solid Gaming. Pretty solid engage pick. Just coming into the team fights and stopping everyone's CC.
Absolutely. Cannon also does have a pretty chill lane just to scale up here, and this Cannon will be doing a lot of damage in his team fights if he gets out of lane pretty solidly. There are four squishies essentially on the side of Rock Bottom Gaming here, so if he finds a good, well-timed ult, pair that up with a Lux ultimate as well, and the Dawning Shadow from Senna, and uh, Rock Bottom Gaming might just disappear.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yep. One thing to worry about though is that the Scion super tanky, and there's not really a big tank shredder on the side of Rock Solid, right? They have the Senna, they have Lux as well. Not really your high DPS carries that you need to kill Scion. So it'll be
Mhm.
up to the Cannon to really make sure that Scion isn't a factor in these fights or in the split push.
Yeah, I agree. But, picking Senna Tom Kench, I'm pretty sure they're gonna, not focus on bot lane too much, so they might have Graves come top lane a lot because Senna Tom Kench is not meant to, dominate lane per se. So we'll have to see if Sion's allowed to scale and become the usual monster he is.
Absolutely though. But on the side of, Rock Bottom Gaming here with that Scion, Sion's pretty happy to die 15 times. We
That
see the
is
Bells
true.
do it all the time.
Oh yeah. If they
Yeah.
go for like a Baus strategy with the Baus and Law, that might be an interesting thing to see in the game.
I have to see what's going on here. Okay, taking a look at both these teams, Ali, if you were on the side of either teams, which team would you want to be on?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't mind being in either team, but I myself like a lot of more CC teams, so I guess I would not mind to be on Team Kennen, Graves, Lux, Tahm Kench, and Senna, and go for a more late game where, everything depends on that one team fight that will decide the game. So I guess that's more my style. But you could also go for, a laning phase game. I wouldn't mind that either, as, I play Pantheon and play for lane in that sense. So I wouldn't mind being on either team. Both teams sound very, very good here.
Very true. And also for Rock Solid, with this, Senna Lux combo here, Tahm Kench and Ken as well, their team fight is pretty stock standard, like you'll always know how they want to play out these team fights. On side of other Rock, if they're not like that far ahead, if Nefiri can't get these resets, it gets pretty rough for them to play these team fights come mid game. So,
Mhm.
a little bit easier to execute on the side of Rock Solid and blue team here. But other Rock, if they can get those Nefiri resets in these fights, then it'll be pretty much a wash for them.
That's true. And there aren't too many mechanically difficult champions here, so we're not expecting any, I guess, too many mechanical errors from either team. So it's gonna be a most, I guess, macro game. It's not gonna be more so, who presses buttons faster. It's gonna be more so strategy and like a chess-based game, I guess.
Absolutely. There's definitely not that many mechanics for this Annie and this more misfortune. Even Nefiri, to be honest, all you do is press around, you hope and pray you hit them.
Exactly. Like the most mechanical character here, I guess, would be Graves and Senna. Oh, Kennen too. Well, not really, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's pretty fitting for a couple of these guys, especially on the rock bottom gaming. These guys may be a little bit washed, past their prime, picking the champions that they can outthink the other team,
Mm.
compared to mechanical champions like the Ripon, Irelia, or Yasuo and that type of champs.
No, I completely agree, and that's probably why they banned out champs that are, I guess, a lot more mechanical. They banned out the Hecarim, the Jace, I guess, the Mel. So they didn't want to get, I guess, outplayed in a sense of mechanics, and they wanted to, if they were gonna lose, they're happy to lose to bad decisions rather than bad button pressing.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, looks like we'll be heading into game just rather soon here. A couple more seconds here, but we have to pay attention. The Senna is actually going support, or the support player is playing Senna here. Jack X is playing the Tom. So we have to see if they do offer that fasting Senna, or if or if uppies will be farming here.
We'll have to see as we load in to the game.
Alrighty. Looks like taking a look at the runes here, No Hands Larry on the cannon with first strike. Pretty valid rune. If he can get a lot of value of it, we have to see how much gold he can get at first strike, and also come these big team fights, if he can find a flank, remain unseen until he pops the ult. That can be a lot of bonus damage. I think it's 9% for range champions here, so that'd be pretty interesting as
Yeah, no,
well.
and first strike is generally good in lane against someone very melee like Sion, so that would be pretty good for Kennen.
Absolutely here. All right, hopping into game. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if there's any early level game, level 1 shenanigans. I don't really expect it, but we could see one coming out from Team Rock Solid here. On the blue side, they do have quite a bit of CC. And looks like they will be looking for an envy here.
This
Rock
should be
Bottom Gaming,
pretty.
on the other hand, just doing a 5-point.
Oh, Nefiri does not seem to have a jungle item. That's probably UI bug. Surely Nefiri didn't forget to buy anything, but yeah, this should be a pretty interesting start to the game.
It looks like Nefiri hasn't bought anything yet. This could be on purpose, waiting to the war and doesn't want to be seen spotted with the jungle item just yet, but really it doesn't matter too much.
That is true, yeah. It's not like Nefiri will lose out any worth.
No. Nefiri will lose value though if she doesn't back and buy that jungle item. See what's going
Yep,
on. On
and
Vision here.
Nefiri's trying to back. Kennen stops it. So much value out of that first strike. The extra 1 gold is gonna go far in lane.
Absolutely. And it looks like Senna will be fasting. So not really taking advantage of these new Senna buffs, but if she does end up picking up some gold for herself, then we'll see a little bit of value.
Absolutely. Nefiri is a little late to her clear, so that's going to be an interesting way to see how the tempo plays out this game and how much Graves can, I guess, abuse his 6 second advantage over Nefiri and get off some cool ganks.
Absolutely. But Nefiri does clear pretty fast, so these couple seconds shouldn't make too much of a difference. Unless there are more unoptimal things. And taking a look at this bot lane, Jack X already taking so much damage from this Brand Misfortune combo, down to just about 60% HP.
Yep, and Brand's looking for a lot more poke, but he whiffs his abilities and gets quite punished for it.
Absolutely. Overall, just a little bloody. Level 2 does come out for the bot lane of Rock Bottom Gaming. So they'll be happy they'll be able to push in.
I mean, they're not looking to dominate this lane anyway. They're just looking to, sit back, farm, maybe pick up a kill or two, but nothing too aggressive or oppressive. Survive laning phase, as they say.
Absolutely. And does come out, checking out that Tom Kench does have a teleport instead. So, if he does get chunked, he has a way to get back in the lane. One get out of jail free card, pretty much.
Exactly, and the lack of combat summoner spells on the side of Rock Solid Gaming would be pretty interesting to see how that would impact them in team fights.
Absolutely. Pay attention to this jungle though. With the couple second delay, Graves actually is already up a camp in timers here. Scoper on this Nefiri finally getting to her raptors here. Raptors, chickens. So
Yep.
Graves will have a little bit of a window. Could potentially look for a double crab as well. We have to see if he's cognizant of this late Nefiri change. Lots of damage coming out in this bot lane though. L9 Scooby-Doo getting hit by the Tom Kench W. Force a heal, but won't be enough. First blood over to the side of Team Rock Solid here. P2P force a flash away. Is hit by the Tom Kench Q stun here. And looks like this Misfortune will fall. Double kill to Senna.
Yeah, that's gonna be absolutely huge for Rock Solid Gaming, you know, picking a late game scaling comp and getting oh wow, and getting a double kill early on is gonna definitely help them accelerate to the late game.
So we'll see if Scoper can make anything happen on top here. No hands Larry. Force a flash away. Lots of damage traded, but Scoper walking away without a kill.
Both junglers recall now, so it's gonna be they're almost equal on tempo.
Absolutely. But
But
if you notice the CS gap here, Scoper had to miss one camp to ensure that they were able to get that scuttle.
mhm,
So yeah, this Graves is up not only assist, but also another camp here. So we'll be up in XP for a little while.
absolutely. And now the laning phase is going to be pretty rough for the brand Misfortune. You know, Ascena with 2 kills is nothing to scoff at. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to survive the laning phase now.
Especially coming back with a Fade, it's a pretty strong buy. Out on Scooby-Doo, trying to poke a little bit more, but suddenly his brand poke isn't actually that much.
No, especially since Tom Kitch now is a Bami Cinder and Senna would just be healing him. So it won't have too much effect anymore.
Absolutely. Celestin
Oh,
looking for a low trade here with the Empowered Annie Sun. Is able to get that electrocute. 625 range on the Annie, big value.
yeah, absolutely. See a little bit of value from the first strike for the Kennen top lane. It's, 4 gold, not too bad.
Let's see how much his first strike has given him. 38 gold in total, or
38
73 in
gold.
total.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's one control word almost, so
Basically a cannon in value.
yeah. 5 minutes into the game, that's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, out on Scooby-Doo does get hit by another Senna W. Jack X following on this Tom Kench W. Let's see if they can get another Sun off. Out on Scooby-Doo has flash here, so we'll be forced to use it. Let's see if they can follow up. Otherwise, just a really big trade on the side of Team Rock Solid here. Feeling really happy with this bot lane.
Oh, Kennen ult goes off top lane, making sure he tries to survive. Fully charged Scion Q hits, but nothing goes off. Scion is now without Ghost.
Absolutely, and crucially, he also missed that whole wave, which would have meant level 6, which would have secured the cannon kill. No flash, but deciding to opt against it, going a little bit too early. Rock Bottom Gaming will be regretting that.
And now we get the and now Rock Solid gets their dragon for free. Prio bot lane, Prio mid lane. Not much they could do to contest this first Drake.
Absolutely, and we also saw Nefiri making a lot of plays top, and this Scion into Kennen matchup, you don't really want to be making plays setting up the Scion for success. So we have to see, has the game plan changed? Are we looking for a little bit more of a split, or are we just going to hope that we can get a good team fight later in the mid game for Rock Bottom Game to get back in this?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Oh, maybe they're looking for some kind of dive play here for Rock Solid. Oh, no, Graves engages.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Graves obliterates the Misfortune, claims defeats a war. This sends Rock Solid very, very far, accelerates them quite ahead. So we're gonna have to see how they have to come back from this 2,000 gold deficit on Rock Bottom Gaming.
Absolutely, this Graves has so much gold as well. Up already 700 gold on this Nefiri in his lane opponent. So these next couple of fights will be pretty damaging if Nefiri wants to take them.
Nefiri is trying to steal the blue buff from the Graves, but Graves does not allow that, outsmites Nefiri, and we might get a kill here. We might be seeing a kill here on the Nefiri.
Let's see. Also,
Lux starts to rotate.
Nefiri has no flash, right? So
That is
time
true.
on
Oh,
this game,
Graves
splash
flash goes
forward.
off, and Nefiri is down. Another fight bot lane. Tom Kench lands the W. Tom Kench. Oh, yeah, that's a kill. Misfortune is now down. Barrier goes off.
And all of a sudden, this game is kind of getting blown out of proportion here. This bot lane 0-4 combined, and then Nefiri feeling so far behind, down 20 CS and a kill. It's getting rougher by the moment here.
Yeah, this is starting to look very, very rough for Rock Bottom Gaming.
Absolutely. Annie, though, in this mid lane, still feeling pretty solid. And, the Senna, this Lux, this Kennen even are still pretty squishy. So if they can find the angles, get that Nefiri resets as well, they still have a chance in this game.
Absolutely. They still do. One misplay from Rock Solid would even the game out pretty quickly, so. Alright, we see some poke coming out from L9 Scooby-Doo, but not doing too much for Tom Kench. Has really, really good regeneration in lane and sustain, so.
Absolutely, especially with that D shield second wind as well.
Yeah.
All this lane pressure that we expected out of this brand pick here, kind of nullified by this early lane play.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if anything can happen. This top lane, Celestin going top with a flash with the ult as well. See if we can find a play on No Hands Lair,
Fully
which
charged
does have
Scion
flash
Q
again.
lands. Scion ult goes off. That's a flash from No Hands Larry, and he survives yet another gank. Playing very safe, very controlled. Not panicking at all when other people show up in his lane.
Absolutely, it's been 3 times. Someone has shown up in his lane, is able to survive all of them, and in the meantime, this Graves is getting so much value, taking jungle, ganking bot as well. So, No Hands Larry, very happy to just take the backseat in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, let himself be carried, not die too much, not do anything too crazy, and win.
Absolutely.
We see
Looking
a
like we're
Graves
seeing a
gank
play
bot
ball
lane.
in here. Looks like nothing will happen. Peter P is forced to flash though, so we could see a regank, potentially redive.
Oh, Annie's rotating bot lane. Places down a ward in the tri-bush looking for the Graves, but ultimately doesn't find him and decides to go back mid lane for her waves.
Alright, looks like nothing much will be happening for the next while. Good cancel from this brand onto the Graves. It gives Nefurious some extra time to make a play, but was spotted on vision, so they will know Nefurious topside. No Hands Larry, playing safe here.
Yeah, no, I like the plays by No Hands Larry. Just, being humble, not thinking, I have to go carry this game, I have to destroy the Silent lane, just playing chill. As long as I don't die, my bot lane's pretty fed, my jungler's pretty fed. I just have to, relax, not do anything too crazy, and we win the game.
Absolutely, and it really is a big value when you're part of a team, playing competitively. Is that when you're taking the L, you're not taking 2 Ls, you're just taking it gracefully. So
Yeah,
No
exactly.
Hands Larry doing pretty solid, showing why he is Grandmasters. Pretty nice to see.
Yeah, no, very high skill thinking and style of playing, I would say.
Absolutely, we have been complimented No Hands Larry a lot, but we have to also pay attention to this Graves and the Senna as well, making the advantages for the team, feeling pretty good. And looking like they will grab another dragon here, Chemtech Dragon, feeling pretty nice for them pretty soon.
Yep, completely agree. The Fury is trying to look for a play mid lane, less people on the bottom side of the map, maybe higher chance they get the Dragon Flash. Annie ult goes wide.
Unfortunately, just not instantaneous enough. Lux, Piano G is able to have those reactions to survive here, but L9 Scooby-Doo might be caught in a rock and a hard place here. Is forced to flash away. Does come out, but is forced to use the flash. It's going to be really hard for him to function in this next dragon fight if they decide to take it.
Yeah, no, they definitely will have some sort of numbers advantage. This bot lane.
Honestly, just
They're
checking
still
out
trying
that
to.
huge amount of sustain. The Fury are diving on top of this Lux. Doesn't have flash here. Let's see if they can pick up the kill. Kill picked up,
Ooh,
but traded
Senna
back.
ult.
Dawning Shadow picks up Annie on the turn.
Yeah, no, that was
Pretty.
a pretty accurate Dawning Shadow from the Senna.
There you go.
Oh,
Looking for a
Misfortune ult
short
goes
play.
off.
On this one, does finally get the kill, actually bouncing the ult off of Graves. A little bit of a misplay here, but L9 Scooby-Doo going for a little bit more than he could, and falls as well. Time Monster picks up another kill.
Yeah, no, L9 Scooby-Doo bit off a little more than he could chew there, but grabbing a kill on that Senna is very, very useful. Brand getting a lot of items here is not going to be something to look over. One good Brand ult in a team fight, and, you can't really escape that.
Absolutely, 700 gold, almost has that Landry's up. Is just about 600 gold off, so next time he backs, we'll be able to get it. we'll have to see how they can play around this Brand and the strength of the Scion.
Oh, we're looking for a top lane play here. Cannon ult goes off. Graves
Graves is
coming
up here
in.
as well. Let's see if
Scion
Jabshine can
Ghost.
get away.
Nefiri is here too, but Nefiri decides, this is a lost cause. I'm just gonna go back to my camps and not give up more of a lead to the Graves and Cannon.
Absolutely, the Scion stepping up a little bit more than he could, greeting for that Demolish proc on the turret, and Time Monster on the Graves here, able to pick up and punish him.
Looking for a little bit of poke from Rock Solid. Just keeping them under tower.
Absolutely. You see the Misfortune putting up that camping emote here. Unfortunately, is stuck under this turret pretty much. Can't really do much for the time being. We have to see. Is farming pretty well though, so we have to see if he can get back and hit some of those major ultimates.
Yeah, no, this is a really, as you said earlier, they're stuck between a rock and a hard spot. But they can't really do anything, so it's just like a try to survive to late game and then maybe do something for rock bottom gaming here.
Absolutely. At this point, it's just finding out, where they misstep and being able to capitalize on top of it. We have to see if Team Rock Solid on the blue side decides to go up for this Herald here, or make another play in bot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Senna grabs the red buff for lane. More poke, a little more healing. That's gonna be pretty useful. Trying to
Looking
look
like there's
for a
potential
play.
for a dive. Scorper is here on the Snifiri, so is able to cover. But I don't know if they win this 3v3 fight if they take it right now. So once
Yeah,
again,
no, I'm not sure either.
Oh,
Misfortune still has the barrier, Brand still has Ignite ult, so it's gonna be a rough dive to execute. Annie's rotating down, they might look to just completely collapse on them, but everyone decides to go their separate way.
yeah. And crucially, they do also have that ward here. Actually, looks like Out9 Scooby-Doo is getting it caught by this Tom Kench here. Tom Kench taking a ton of damage. Scoper is nearby, so we can see if he can pop that Houndless Pursuit. Ups against it. Is just gonna back. Lots of time wasted for both these junglers, though.
Yeah, absolutely, but since Nefiri wasted a little more time because of that play with Senna and Tom Kench, Graves might be able to pick up the Herald here. As long as Scion does recall and Kennen comes over and helps, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Absolutely. Looks like they will be starting up his Herald here. With both Prio in top and top and mid, Herald should be pretty easy to take. But potentially they're looking for a collapse here. Jabshot on the side. Incredible.
Double hit from the Lux Q.
Basically forces them away. They can't walk up. Celestin on this Annie, just about 40% HP. If he walks up, this Graves will be able to one-tap her. So,
Yeah, no.
yeah, incredible light binding to secure them the Rift Herald.
That was an incredible, incredible light binding. Hitting the ult, scaring them away, telling them, you can't come here without dying, so...
Absolutely. Looks like we will have a Cloud Soul, and third Dragon is coming up in just about 30 seconds here. Rock Bottom Gaming can give this up. It's not too big of a soul, but it is a soul nonetheless. So we have to see if they decide to fight it or make a play on the other side.
We're seeing Nefiri top lane looking for yet another gank on the cannon. Perhaps, try and try again and you might succeed at one point.
Kennen does not have flash here. Looks like we'll be making that play here. If they hit that Cyan Q, Cyan ult.
Cyan ult goes off.
Great layering, but do they have the damage? Scorper just
They
barely
do have
enough
the
here. Cyan
damage.
picks up the shutdown.
The Nefiri invulnerability really saved them there, otherwise that dive would not have gone their way, so that was pretty nice.
Absolutely, and looks like they will be trading this third dragon, soul point for a top turret. You kind of can take this fight, down just about 4k gold. Senna, Tom, and Graves really strong, so smart play by them, making that cross-side play.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, and then we might be seeing mid lane tower drop, yep. For the side of Rock Solid, so now they're up a tower, they have 3 Drakes, they're living life. Graves looking for a play bot lane.
Piano G on this Lux is coming down. TP from this cannon as well. Looks like they're looking for a dive. The 3 men grouped up here. Let's see if they can find the angle. No Hands Larry does have flash again. No cannon ult. Looks like it's going to be a triple kill. 3 for 0 for the side of Team Rock Solid. Let's see if they can find more.
That was a very well executed fight, you know, trapping them in from 3 different directions, not leaving them anywhere to go, and having all the CC ready. Just a
Absolutely. And
well
Sion looks
executed
like
fight.
he might be stuck. He doesn't have R. Pops the ghost already. Cannon ult comes
Yeah,
out, so
goes
lets him
off.
force a flash away.
And he goes down. Sion desperately trying to live or maybe pick up a kill, but tries to leave. Sion Ghost goes off.
Halo does hit a second crash here. Let's see if they'll be able to get that tier 2.
Tier 2 does go down, and they might actually take down Sion here, and they do. So much gold for Rock Solid here, you know, an 8k gold lead, that's insurmountable. It's going to be a very hard game for Rock Bottom Gaming to come back to, but, you know, nothing is impossible.
That's an incredible series of plays, you know, able to start off, you know, big engage coming out without the cannon ult, and then hitting a second engage, able to pick up that Annie and both turrets there. So Team Rock Solid gaining just about 4k gold from that sequence there. We'll be feeling pretty good. 700 gold bounty on this Graze as well. So Time Monster's been playing incredible. Let's see if they can keep it up to close this game out cleanly.
Yeah, absolutely. But getting that shutdown on Graves does mean he's going to have to play a little more careful, so giving a big shutdown to either of the members on the bot lane or Nefiri would be pretty bad, as Nefiri can take out, you know, most of the members on Rock Solid, as they're all squishy. So
Absolutely. Looks like there's a play happening on this Lux here. Does have flash, hits a nice light binding. But Lux also doesn't have a turret, so let's see if they keep chasing. Scorpion uses the Houndless Pursuit. Another light binding gets blocked by the dogs here, so Scorpion will be able to pick up a kill on the Lux here.
yeah, that was a pretty good play by the Scoper. Oh, and he goes down.
In return, though, you can't be face checking those brushes. No vision. You know the jungler is bot side here, and Otacon will be given over to the side of Rock Solid.
We see Sion trying to hit a little bit of the tower on the top side, trying to get some compensation for that earlier team fight.
Mid turret nearly coming down here. Would have been a lot of gold swing, just about what 800 gold if they would pick up that turret, but unfortunately not even pick it up. Let's see if they can make a play on this mid lane here. There's only 2 members. Sion running forward. Senna does have flash though. Can flash it. Nice layering of CC as well. So which means the Senna will die.
Let's
see if we can continue the fight here. Annie does have Tibbers here, so maybe we can see a nice little Senna. Jack X getting caught. Okay.
Very good numbers play by Rock Bottom Gaming here. That's exactly what they needed to swing the game back into their favor. All they need to do is get the kill on the Graves.
Overall, pretty good sequence of plays. Rock Bottom finding these rock solid players caught out here, and is able to pick up 2 nice kills, a big shutdown for Celestin on this Annie, just about 500 gold. So signs of life for Rock Bottom Gaming. You know, definitely not at rock bottom yet, but we have to see what they can do at this soul fight here coming up in just under a minute.
Yeah, no, when you're this behind as Rock Bottom Gaming, the only way you can go is up, so that's what they're doing. You know, grouping up, getting some picks, trying to get some gold. Definitely working out in their favor so far, but will they continue this trend? We'll have to see.
Yeah, it also shows that, you know, Rock Solid, you know, while they're incredibly ahead, you know, their carries are still really squishy. You know, Senna died all in 1 CC chain. So, you know, if they can happen again, you know, we have the NER on top of a Branda, on top of MFR, you know, the whole team could just collapse.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ooh, the big team fight coming out here. Tom Kench gets caught out, but as he's tanky, he hits his E. Lux ult kills the Annie.
No Hands Larry on this cannon, though.
Absolutely insane cannon ult, cleaning up the rest of the team fight. With no losses from the side of Rock Solid, pushing their lead way further ahead than before.
Absolutely, it was looking so good for Rock Bottom at the start of this fight, but then, you know, Kennen dies in, you know, the Lux ult is picking up Celestin as well, and then it just turns out it's just a 4-for-0 for the side of Rock Solid.
Yeah, no, that was really, really rough for Rock Bottom Gaming. They just, I think most of their time was spent sitting in a bush that was warded, but no one had a red trinket to clear it, so they were just sitting there wasting time, unfortunately, and giving way too much information to Rock Solid.
Absolutely. Well, looks like Cloud Soul will be given over to the side of Rock Solid. Let's see if they can clean up this game, make it end quickly. And then if you're Rock Bottom Gaming, you know, and you pretty much got dismantled this game, what are you telling the team next game to jump back in and make that comeback?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess it would be to change tactics halfway through the game. You know, if ganking top lane isn't working, maybe pivot to bot lane and somehow make plays there, but even that would be tough.
Yeah. And
So,
we can see the Graves damage. He might be a little bit caught out here. Is able to get that
oh, Tom
devoured by a
Kench.
Tonkench, saving his life, but taking so much damage, also dishing out a ton as well.
Sion ult goes off, trying to look for the Graves here, maybe. Oh,
Uh,
and an ult goes in, Sion ease over the wall. Annie fighting Annie one-shotting the Lux in bot lane, picking up a pretty hefty bounty for herself.
Let's see. Yeah, it is what you like to see. You know, and he's still doing a ton of damage. It wasn't really seen buffer in the most recent patch. So feeling pretty good. They still have the angles, but it's gonna be tougher and tougher as the game goes on now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the Cloud Soul allowing Rock Solid to rotate to plays faster is definitely going to be a big part of the later on team fights.
No hands, Larry. Looking for some trades here. Doesn't have the Kenna ult anymore, so hopefully we'll just be able to kill this Tibbers. Does teleport back to the Annie, but Tibbers will be timing out anytime soon.
Yep. Clearing some vision around the Baron pit for Rock Solid. Maybe they're going to look for a Baron play here. We'll have to see.
It'll be interesting to see. Top tier 1 is still up for Rock Bottom Gaming, so expecting Rockside to try to break down that turret before they start the Baron. Make sure these waves get pushed in. Lux picking up mid here. Japshon taking a little bit of poke, but he is super tanky, you know. There is no tank killers on the side of Rock Solid.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's starting to, you know, come into play how tanky Sion gets late game and nothing you can do about it. Sion ult goes off. They're trying to get a big engage here. Kennen ult, however, absolutely stops their engage and demolishes the entire Rock Bottom Gaming plan there.
Absolutely. No hands Larry, you know, hitting those massive cannon ults, doing so much damage in these team fights. 9, 1, and 4 now. Does have that Rabadon's and empowered boots, so no hands Larry popping off here. That's what you like to see.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what you like to see from a top laner, you know, dominate the team fights, make sure no one can mess around with engages on their squishies. So they pick up the Baron here, probably they pick up the tier 3 and inhibitor bot lane most likely, and the top tier 1 too.
Absolutely. It looks like the game, you know, feeling pretty rough now. A 12k gold lead. No hands Larry on his cannon, you know, was, you know, attempted to be put down early in this game, you know, was able to live 3 ganks in the early game, and now 9, 1, and 4 absolutely popping off here, so.
Yeah, surviving that early game with the insurmountable amount of ganks from the Nefiri was very, very skillful.
So Celestin getting caught by a Senna W here. Looks like he will just be 100-0 within the CC.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah. Facing a 4v5, just about 15k gold down now. Let's see if they can find an angle. You know, they can find a pick onto Piano G, onto No Hands Larry, or even Uppies here. Let's see if they can find anything. No Hands Larry diving forward here, flashing forward, hitting that huge cannon ult, which means another double kill, 11-1. And Jab Shot will finally be falling.
They pick up the Scion as well, putting the nail in the coffin. I'm not sure how Nefiri's going to defend against this. This might be the rock bottom for Rock Bottom Gaming.
Absolutely. Looks like they will decide to back off here. So another couple minutes we will see out of this game. We'll have to see if something can change, or Rock Bottom's already thinking about the next game.
Yeah, no, that seemed to be just a little bit of mercy from the side of Rock Solid for Rock Bottom Gaming, just to, you know, I guess see some more game.
We'll have to see though. Elder Dragon is coming up in 1 minute. This might be the thing they need or want to decide the game, but I don't even think they need it, to be honest here. If they catch this, if they find a kill on Scorpion here, it absolutely disappears pretty much, and No Hands Lay will be picking up another kill.
Yeah, now it's going to be even difficult to contest the Elder Dragon, so that might have actually been the nail in the coffin. Bran goes down. No Hands Larry absolutely being a monster in this game.
Absolutely. And also like the last time we saw him, he had 4 items back with a whole Void Staff. And absolutely one shot at this MF here. Let's see if he can get away from Jab Shine. No Hands
Final
Larry will
throws
be
off
given over
the match.
110k. Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Dawson
that was
taking half
just
the HP bar in 1 hour.
yeah, that was rough. I mean, just from the early game in general, Senna Tahm Kench getting a slight lead is just not something you'd ever want to see, especially if you have an early game bot lane. So good game played by both teams. However, Rock Bottom Gaming did have that one moment of hope, but Rock Solid did not allow them to
Absolutely.
get a lead.
It was pretty much like just a snowball effect. Once the bottom lane, which was the point of strength for the side of Rock Bottom, went haywire, it kind of fell apart. Nefiri can't gank that bot lane anymore. Has to go out, try to make plays on the top side, but No Hands Larry played really well around the vision, make sure that he wasn't inting himself. And
Mhm.
just turns out there's such a big lead. No Hands Larry was able to scale up, get those items, get that money, and popped off in these late game team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty rough game for Rock Bottom Gaming. We'll have to see how they, swing the pendulum back. Maybe they have other plans. Maybe we'll see a Malphite come out this game, but we'll have to see what their plans are, how they plan to, recover from such a tough loss.
Absolutely. As a reminder, because it is fearless, we can talk about the Sedan, talk about the Tom, talk about the Canon so much, but we won't be seeing it for the rest of the series. So Rock Bottom Gaming will be feeling just a little bit happier that they won't have to see these champions come out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That was a pretty rough bot lane to deal against. Pretty rough Kennen to deal against too. So we'll have to see how they think about game two, what their drafts are gonna be. Maybe they're gonna have a more uh top lane sided game. But yeah.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be taking a quick little break here between the games. Grab some water, use the bathroom if you need it. That was game one of the Rock Derby Team Rocks. Rock Solid versus Rock Bottom Gaming. 1-0 for Rock Solid. We'll see you soon.
This product is brought to you by Unknown Brain. Thank you for listening. Love you all.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Yeah.
Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah.
Alrighty then, hope everyone got some water. Oh. Alrighty then, hope everyone got some water, used the washroom, got ready for another amazing game 2. Hopefully it's not going to be as much of a snowball this game. It will be a little bit closer. What are your thoughts after game 1, Terry?
After game 1, it's pretty rough for Rock Bottom Gaming. Rock Solid, pretty solid game overall. But what I would like to see is, maybe play a little bit more risk adverse, and not look to play high variance champions like their brand. Play something a little more conventional and make sure they get their foot in the door. That before the like laning phase ends, they come out with a pretty solid game state for them. Definitely not like 5k down.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. Getting that 5k down early game honestly probably affected their mental more than they admit.
Absolutely. And I would love to see a little bit more play around Celestin in this mid lane here. Obviously it was on the Annie, but Annie does have a lot of guaranteed CC, so Nafir can come by, make those plays happen. So let's see if they can link up just a little bit better. Definitely not on Annie, because it is fearless, but hopefully on something that can work out with this mid jungle.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Alright, same bands coming out from everyone involved. Vladimir, Swain, Jace, Poppy, instant ban. Teemo. Wow, that was 6 bans in 5 seconds. Everyone banned the exact same champion as last game.
Just like that. And also, one thing to note is Rock Solid is on the blue side here. Rock Bottom Gaming opted to take red side.
Ooh, a very
Yeah.
quick Rakan pick.
Yeah, and
From the blue
Rakan pretty
side.
solid. They don't have the Poppy counter pick, so Rakan feeling pretty happy. Let's see if the Rocks or Rock Bottom Gaming has something prepared against this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we were expecting the Rakan pick last game, but Tom Kench, I guess, was good enough for them and sent a support, so we'll have to see what they do this game.
Great. Locking in that Nautilus support, a little bit more conventional. Let's see what type of ADCs that you can pair it up with. I'm expecting something like a Varus, but we could see like an Ezreal. We could see a Jhin come out as well.
Ooh,
Looks like
we
we
see
will be
the
saving it for
Diana
later.
pick for Rock Bottom Gaming, trying to go for a more team fight-esque game, I guess.
Yep. Scorpio has got quite a bit of games on Diana, but so does Celestin. So we're to see where this goes. Does it go mid? Does it go jungle? Yasuo coming out, so we're gonna be splitting the Yasuo Diana combo here. We will be having Rakan Yasuo, a great combo as well. So let's see how they can work this out, where this Yasuo is going, because it could be going ADC. We've seen it ADC already too.
Jarvan as well, allowing for that easier pick potential. Jarvan ultimate into Rakan W into Yasuo. A lot of lockdown potential from Rock Solid here.
I was like, Rock Solid Gaming, they saw the Poppy ban and we're like, we're gonna pick every single champion that's bad into Poppy. So they have Rakan, Yasuo, and Jarvan. We'll see. We have to see what the Rocks have prepared against us.
Yeah, no. Ooh, we see the Kaisa ADC hover here. They probably will pick it. Not a bad ADC to blind here.
Absolutely. And it does have that mobility. Does it have the E? You can go invisible after you get that evolve, and also R to get us sticky situations in between Jarvan ult and Rakan ult. So, pretty good pick here. We have to see what they round out the rest of their comp with, though.
Yeah, I agree. Kaisa very safe into their extremely lockdown phase team. We see the Hui ban coming out from Rock Bottom Gaming and the Set ban as the last game from Rock Solid here.
There you go. Looks like we'll be expecting this Yasuo to go bot lane. Just taking a look at their play rates. PLG does have some Yasuo games, but so does Jack X. And we also get a Varus ban as well, so won't be seeing that. Won't be seeing a little bit more of that Wombo combo. To see, they can offer a Zaya. I think Zaya would be pretty decent into Diana Nautilus, and Rakan Zaya will be pretty strong as well. So we'll have to see what comes out. Dr. Mundo said once again banned for Rock Solid.
Yeah, no, I'm interested to see what Rock Solid are gonna pick top lane this game. They picked the Kennen some late game top lane last game, so I'm interested to see what they're gonna opt for this game. Maybe a tank, maybe someone that can dish out damage like a bruiser. So it'll be interesting how they form the rest of their team comp here.
Yeah. Really on brand with this team comp though would actually be Malphite. You already have Jarvan diving in, already have the Rakan diving in. Might as well throw a Malphite in there too.
Rock Bottom Gaming picking Talia very on brand with their team. Talia can control rocks, and I guess they're at the rock bottom, so they have nowhere else to go
There
except
we go.
Talia.
Yeah, very strong matchup into Yasuo and Rakan. So in these team fights, it's gonna be pretty tough for them. But looks like we will have Mel coming up mid lane most likely. So to Mel into Talia is actually really favored for Talia, even though she does get outrange. The W reflect doesn't do much, and with the mobility that Talia does have, she's able to kite around those Qs, kite around those Es a lot.
That is an Aurora hover for Rock Solid here, which would be pretty interesting. They have no tanky champions, as per their choice last game as well.
Yeah, Aurora most likely going top here.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like a three-way flex between this Yasuo, Mel, and Aurora, so we will have to see what's going on. Pretty interesting draft as well, but there's a lot of wombo combo from the side of Rock Solid on this blue team.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, they banned Poppy, but they also did pick Talia for their anti-dash. Talia E does work really well into Jarvan, into Yasuo, into Rakan, so we'll have to see how they utilize that.
There you go, and then we will be having a Yone top. Let's find out where these lane assignments are going.
Yep. Well, let's see if we have the Wind Brothers fighting against each other or if they're gonna go separate lanes.
Absolutely. Oh, looks like it will be Aurora top, Mel mid, and then Yasuo in this bot lane here. So it is kind of what we most expected. Right, you don't really want that Yasuo into Talia. Yasuo Rakan work really well in the spot lane. And Aurora also a pretty favorite matchup, ranged into top. Always pretty happy about that. So coming out of this draft, I definitely would like to be on the team of Rock Solid, but what do you think?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. I would definitely want to be on Rock Solid. They have a little more cohesiveness with their team comp. Rakan Yasuo was really nice, and Jarvan is there to lock down. Aurora's there to lock down, so that would allow Yasuo and Rakan to, really shine and do some crazy things with their abilities. On the side of Rock Bottom Gaming, Diana and Yon wouldn't work too terribly, but we'll just have to see how they work with that.
Absolutely. You know, Diana Yon pretty much dive buddies. Kaisa can follow up. So can Nautilus just with the R. So it kind of is just a battle of who gets the wombo combo off. You know,
Yeah,
will it be
absolutely.
the Yasuo, Jarvan, or Khan Aurora, or can Nautilus get in there with Yon and Diana, and then Kaisa follow up with the R as well?
Hmm. I agree. And Talia with the area control here with her E, which is going to be pretty interesting to see if that's going to be utilized pretty well or not in the team fights. Just stopping Yasuo from running around on everyone is going to be pretty useful later in the
Absolutely.
game.
Yeah. Also, like Talia, also very happy to fight on her own as well. A lot of the times though, she will be kind of away from these fights. As everyone's diving into Talia's following up. So if she's not paying that much attention, we could see the counter dive on top of her. But overall, Scoper played a pretty solid any game last time. So let's hopefully see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, no, let's hopefully see. Maybe Celestin is gonna hope for a more roam style gameplay this time. We know Annie tried to make a lot of plays bot lane, but unfortunately they didn't work out due to either Graves being there or the bot lane not having enough abilities to accept the gank. So maybe Talia this time is gonna be a lot more gank heavy and oppressive onto the Yasuo and Rakan.
Absolutely. Not to see what's going on though. Mel does have a lot of push as well. Uses a lot of mana though, so we have to wonder how well these mid laners will manage their mana pools if they're looking to
Mhm.
get that push and roam style going.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering if they're gonna go for another invade-esque, pressure the enemy jungler play for rock solid here. Although I don't know how that would work out for them. Their level 1 is not as, I would say, strong as rock bottom gaming, but what's your thoughts on that, Terry?
I think it's pretty rough. If they opt for like an early invade, I think they just lose. Uh, but they can't do it if they're not paying attention here. So uh, hopefully Rock Bottom Gaming didn't study what happened last game too deep. And maybe if they look for another angle, but between Mel and Aurora, I don't really think they want to do the invading.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking. So maybe if Rock Bottom Gaming wants, they could take a page out of Rock Solid's book and try to invade themselves. But I don't think they're going to opt for any early game risky plays as last game did not go too well for them in the early game. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely, and like especially with a Yasuo comp, right? This Yasuo in the bot lane. If Yasuo isn't really getting far ahead, isn't getting the angles early, it gets a lot tougher for him to function. So if they're able to just do nothing, chill out a little bit in this mid game, make sure everyone gets to those one item spike, Kaisa gets those evolves, then it's going to be significantly harder for Yasuo to function if he doesn't get those easy ways in.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yasuo and Jarvan are both not known for their late game prowess, but we'll have to see if they're able to utilize their pretty powerful early mid game abilities and ganking capabilities.
Absolutely. Let's see if there's any interesting rune takes here. We'll be hopping right into game now. There's
You
Yasuo
see,
opting for the lethal tempo instead of fleet footwork. So hoping to do a lot more extended fighting. Could be possible, but with the range coming out in this bot lane, I wouldn't expect too much of it.
mhm. Oh, they
Yeah.
do decide to go for some kind of five-man play from Rock Bottom Gaming here.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if that goes in their favor or if they make another early game blunder like last game.
I see. It looks like there might be a bush cheese here. Uppy's walking in all by his lonesome. Let's see if he can catch in. Drops the warden. Well played by Uppies, sensing that there could be happening, drops the ward in that lane brush and is able to detect this early tease.
Yeah, no, that's very, very good game sense by LPs, trying to predict the Nautilus Q. They do look for another kind of play on the Mel here, but Mel stays vigilant. Mel looks everywhere, does not allow for herself to get caught.
Absolutely, just getting some early vision. Let's see if Jarvan will do the same. So they will be able to get a ward here. So both Raptors warded for either team. Let's see if they can make use of any of that vision.
Oh, Aurora looking for some kind of tribush cheese, but Yone senses something was wrong and goes the other way.
We're going even deeper here. Let's see if she can get some good poke.
Aurora
Jab
with the
Shine.
electrocute, so Aurora does get the poke that she desperately wanted. This is very, very good for her start.
Absolutely. Jabshan though popping that Zoe emote a little bit sad, but does have D shield second wind.
Yep,
But
and
this is
footwork as well.
yeah, this is the range top matchup here. Jabshan getting zoned off a couple minions here. No hands Larry making advantage of that range advantage, or taking advantage of that range advantage.
Yeah, no, it's just pretty rough to be Yone here. I mean, what are you even supposed to do? You know, you just have to be always juking, always, you know, healing, just trying to sustain as much as you can.
Absolutely. And you know the second wave's come in. He's still sitting at 0 CS here, so let's see if he can recover. If Diana might be called early to come help him out.
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing that happens. I mean, No Hands Larry is playing a lot more aggressive than he was last game, but Aurora does have more escape capabilities than Kennen, so
Absolutely. Also trading really well as well. Really well. You know, dodging out from those Qs, using those E's to deny some damage as well. So glazing no hands Larry once again, but playing pretty solid.
yeah, no, as a fellow top laner, if I was a lane like this, I would be pretty annoyed, It's a little, how do I say, demotivating to play into someone which you can't hit, but they will absolutely destroy your health bar.
Absolutely. You see, every time Jabshine's walking up, you know, he's getting tagged with an auto, tagged with a Q. So it's gonna be pretty rough. But if he gets through lane, you know, it might not be that bad.
I completely agree. Jarvan going bot lane, looking for some kind of play here. Maybe Diana is bot lane as well, so we'll have to see if this gank works out. Yasuo does have the Q3, hits the tornado. Rakan follows up with a W. But they don't seem to find anything. Jarvan seems to be slightly late. Oh, Jarvan comes in, hits the EQ on the Nautilus, but ultimately does not find anything.
Absolutely. A nice side set from Peter P. The hook does go wide from Out9 Scooby-Doo. All in going in. First blood will be given over to this Jarvan. Let's see if they can return the favor, though. Time Monster looking for play, getting hit by a turret shot, is forced to flash away. Overall, 1-0 for the side of Team Rock Solid.
Yeah, Jarvan getting an early lead. Maybe giving some deja vu to Rock Bottom Gaming of Graves getting an early lead, but we'll have to see if this, you know, doesn't demotivate them.
Absolutely. Scoper is able to pick up that scuttle, going up for the second scuttle as well. But Jarvan will be out pretty fast. So let's see if she can pick it up in time or she will decide against it.
Both top laners without their teleport this game, so so Yone does not have a free get back to lane card, so we'll have to see how he plays the rest of the lane without taking too much damage.
That's it. Crucially though, Aurora does have the inside track. Scoper is able to pick it up without worry, you know, popping that smite. So that means a double scuttle for this Diana, and the gold advantage actually pretty close.
Yeah, I agree. Oof, Aurora does a big trade onto the Yone. Chunking him out pretty healthily, forcing a refillable potion to go down.
Absolutely. In the meantime, though, we were able to get a couple of deep wards for the side of Rock Bottom Gaming. We'll know that this Jarvan will be on the Raptors, and we'll be pathing down for this jungle or potentially another gank bot.
Yep, I agree completely. Nautilus fishing for a hook here, you know, in that middle bush, in that bottom bush. Not realizing that bush may be warded, hits the hook.
Yeah.
Rakan goes in, but it's just a little bit of poke. A little haha hee hee.
Absolutely. Definitely don't want to fight inside that minion wave just yet. Will be a lot of damage, so Rakan opts against it, you know, dashes away to his little friend Yasuo.
Yeah, Kaisa and Nautilus do ward the tri-bush, just in case Jarvan does decide to come and ruin their day yet again.
Absolutely. Will be spotted, but the wave isn't in a great spot for them, so it looks
Yeah,
like they will be missing out just a little bit of XP.
Ilya is looking for some plays here, slightly out of lane, wondering if, you know, do I commit to this gank and lose a bit of waves, or do I just stay mid and hope everything works out?
Absolutely. Well, looks like Diana is able to get another full clear out. Let's see if she'll decide to start up this dragon or not, as Jarvan is now on reset, going topside. Looks like we're having another fight coming in this bot lane here. Uppy's on that great entrance going forward here. Talia is on the way. Incredible Yasuo Q3 here to deny Scorpions in space. Flash
Talia
forward,
flash
seismic
goes off.
shove misses. And Jack X and
Oof.
Uppy is able to just narrowly dodge away. Mel coming down, trying to look for a kill on Peter P. Is able to pick up, does have
Root
the Mel
hits
ult as
and
well.
the
Isn't
ult.
needed.
Yeah, no, that was pretty rough. Rock Bottom Gaming was pretty ambitious there, you know, trying to not repeat their mistakes of last game, getting a little bit of an early lead maybe, but unfortunately things did not go their way.
So it looks like we will be having a dive come out top here. Fate Sealed actually gets Japshine away here. Is able to immune or unstoppable the Jarvan EQ and then
Yeah.
walk out with his life.
Oop.
Alright.
Mel Root. A little bit of trading in the mid lane, nothing too crazy.
Looks like Diana will be able to pick up this this Chemtech Dragon here. Dragon number 1. Give it over to Rock Bottom.
Yeah, no, a little bit of a tactics change from Rock Bottom, you know, starting to pick up Drakes this game, focusing a bit more on like objective and jungle control, so it's going to be pretty interesting how their philosophy has changed from game 1.
Absolutely. We'll see if they decide to go for grubs as well. Nautilus on that roam. But potentially could look for another dive bot here. Yasuo, Rakan, both no flashes. Especially with Nautilus ult coming up not soon at all, so
Kinda soon. No.
a full level away, so we'll decide against it. Diana just going back to full clearing. Does have the ult, maybe looking for a play on the top side.
All wards are cleared in that tribush. That was a pretty interesting warding experience for both teams.
We've got to pay attention to top side though. Japshine does have no flash. Time Monster looking for a Cataclysm angle here. Is able to connect it. Japshine might just be going down here. It doesn't have anything to... You know, hits like Q3
hits.
actually.
The W hits enough shielding to live that dive. Japshine has played that to his best mechanical possibility and survived the gank. Diana looking to do something, but unfortunately she does not have too much help from anyone else.
Absolutely. Well played by Japshine there. Able to dodge away, and which means that Jarvan is forced to back here, and which will also mean Diana will be able to pick up these grubs. Talia picking up the top wave as well, making sure no XP is missed.
Yeah, no, I'm liking how Rock Bottom's playing out this game compared to last game. You know, a bit more objective control, not dying as much to ganks, or being a little more conscious about what they're doing.
Absolutely, it's what you like to see. Although, big thing to note though is there is a 30 CS gap in his bottom lane. Peter P missing out on a lot of CS here. Let's see if he can keep it up, and also these turret plates going down pretty quickly to this Yasuo and Rakan.
Yep,
Another cannon denied.
Yeah, that must be slightly tilting for Peter P, but you know, Peter P has all of their sums, their ult as well, so he's gonna be alright. Nautilus still not level 6, still vulnerable to any fights. Nautilus hook goes in.
Yeah, Uppy's on there as Rakan going forward, dashing out though a little bit out of sync. Jack X there, popping that Yasuo R as Rakan dashes away, but overall nothing too much matters here. Yasuo are pretty short on cooldown, so we'll be seeing it next time they fight anyways.
Yep, not too much loss there for the side of Rock Solid, but Peter P didn't lose anything either, so Peter P still has all of his escape options. Oh.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially favorable for the Kaisa, you know, didn't have to blow anything, so she just means that the next, like, a minute or so of this Yasuo being down means that she can't die.
And she can CS a little more freely, you know, not having to worry about getting Rakan engaged on and dying to Yasuo, so...
Absolutely. But this top lane, though, No Hands Larry, harassing this Yone relentlessly, which means he will have to back again. TP forced out on this top side here. No Hands Larry probably able to pick up a plate as well.
Oh, Nautilus hook goes in. Does not hits the Mel. They might be looking for a kill here, but Mel does burn flash.
Absolutely. A nice play from L9 Scooby-Doo here, but we have to see if this means anything or not. You know, if you can't take advantage of that flash, you know, blowing it is pretty useless.
Yeah,
or pretty
absolutely,
worthless.
I completely agree. Peter P being forced to CS under tower yet again. Oh, Yasuo Q3 goes, Yone Q3 goes wide.
So Jabshine going forward here on this Yone doesn't know that. Now notices that Jarvan's here, is forced to back again, which decides to stay hang around just for a little bit here. Does have true vision, a true sight on this Jarvan, so we'll know he's gone. Looking like we're having an all-in coming up from this bot side here. Scorper on this Diana is coming down, flash forward, misses the Q. Let's see if she can find the ult. Jax
Ian hits the
diving
ult.
through, flash away, is able to pick up the kill. Uppy's
Scorper picks a kill, and so does Peter P. This is a very, very good way to even out the game, only being down 1,000 gold now.
absolutely, and Dragons come up in just about 40 seconds. They will be back for it, but this means that the space and the jungle will be theirs. Let's see if they can find.
Plus,
Oh,
hits
Seismic Shove does
W.
go forward. Flash auto here coming out from Alan Scooby-Doo. Celestin taking so much damage. Chai Monster on this Jarvan able to pick up a kill here, but no hands Larry is on the backside doing so much damage. It wasn't expected.
Aurora, and No Hands Larry picks up yet another double kill, giving them a little bit of deja vu and PTSD from last game.
Absolutely. The extended sequence does go the side of Team Rock Solid, but Jashan able to pick up a couple of plates here in this mid lane, in this top lane, which will be traded in mid lane here. But Aurora hitting a great TP, punishing the Yone for having to TP back to lane, which means 3 kills will be given over to the side of Team Rock Solid.
Yeah, no, that was pretty rough. Their initial play was going very well until the Aurora TP just absolutely turned things to Rock Solid's favor.
Absolutely. Ocean Dragon getting picked up by Rock Solid. Time Monster grabbing another objective here. Also having his full Sundered Sky already, so we'll be pretty tanky.
Yeah, it's gonna be harder and harder to kill this Jarvan up until the late game or up until anyone gets items.
So Scorper dashing forward here, looking for another play. It does have an ult again, but there's no one here to help him out. Exhaust does him down, but overall nothing happens.
Yeah, no, Nautilus and Kaisa decided not to follow up. There was a wave under their tower, not much they could do there. So they had to focus on CS and try to see how things go.
Dude. Looks like there might be a play coming out here. Rakan W into Yasuo are hitting a lot of damage. Peter P forced to flash away. Does have the barrier. Uses the Relentless Pursuit to just get out, but it's just not enough here. Nautilus will be falling. Alright, we'll be able to get away, but No Hands Larry picking up another kill here. Feeling pretty happy about that.
That was pretty rough for Rock Bottom Gaming. Not much they could have done there. Maybe not engaged when Jarvan was nearby, but they had to try something. They can't just sit still and allow the other team to scale.
Absolutely, and it looks like Rock Bottom was trying to call their bluff. Saying our Diana's nearby. You guys can't walk up, but Diana walked away, and Team Rock Solid has so much vision in the jungle that they knew Diana wasn't there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just an information game, and Rock Solid just had the right info at the right time. Aurora doesn't.
No Hands really flashing forward here. The Mel R will be able to pick up the Yone here. Let's see if anything else happens.
Aurora ult just misses the Diana, but things are not looking great for Rock Bottom Gaming this game either.
No.
But of course, we've seen games where a 3k gold lead is very, very easily closed in gap, but we'll have to see if this is one of those games.
Absolutely. Also, this Diana is still pretty decently strong, right? So if they can hit that wombo combo, that Nautilus R into Yone R into Diana R, they still have a chance of picking out these carries.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree, but it's just whether they can find the angles, find the space for Diana and Yone to truly shine. But Nautilus Q goes in. Rakan may be getting overzealous here, but Rakan has always been a slippery character.
Absolutely. Champion 3 dashes in the kit. Also a ton of movement speed already.
Goes on to Peter P. Peter P may be going down here. Kaisa ult does save him. Very, very close call for Rock Bottom Gaming's AD carry.
Forced to back away though, which means Yasuo will get some more time in the turret. Unless she decides to stay around. Right. Looking like we will have a Herald fight coming out here. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if they can find the angle here. Nas Hook going forward on top of this Rakan, but it's not the target you want to aim at here. And No Hands Larry doing a ton of damage on this Aurora already. Jabshine falling, Nautilus falling. Let's see if they can find more. Celestin looking for another angle. But No Hands Larry does get that ult right back up, so Celestin will fall on this Talia. Scoper running for the hills. Let's see if Jarvan can catch up.
Yeah, I think Jarvan's just gonna kill Scoper regardless of if they're under tower, yep. That was a pretty interesting engage from the Rock Bottom Gaming. Rakan, not the target you ever want to engage on. Rakan can always escape, or, you know, worst case scenario, he does make your engage his engage. So, you know, just Rakan pops ult, charms all the important targets, and, well, we saw how that went.
There you go, 4 for 0 for the side of Team Rock Solid here, feeling pretty happy. Also, Yasuo on the other side of the map was able to pick up another turret there. So 2 turrets, lots of gold. But let's see if Aurora overstayed her welcome. L9 Scooby-Doo on this Nautilus looking for an angle.
Aurora is quite a slippery character, so she might be able flash hook by the Nautilus may actually cause Fate Sealed hits exactly Aurora's head, giving a huge shutdown to the Yone, bringing him back into the game.
There you go. That is what you like to see, you know, punishing the grid. But we have to see, is it enough? Is it, or is it just too late, too little?
Yeah, I
Crucially though, No
completely
Hands
agree.
Larry will be up for this dragon fight. A little bit delayed due to the TP timer, but if they want to take this dragon fight, No Hands Larry will be there. With ult as well.
Yeah, and Yone, if No Hands Larry is on the dragon, will be able to pick up a few towers, a few waves for himself, you know, get himself ahead if his team is pressuring things on the bottom side.
Absolutely. Rockbottom Gaming is getting forced out here. L9 Scooby-Doo, unfortunately getting caught by the Yasuo ult here, so they will fall most likely. Another dragon will be given over to the side of Rock Solid here. Just about a 4k gold lead.
Jab
Not
Shine
4k.
does try to take another wave, but Aurora ult goes in. Yone just gets absolutely obliterated. No Hands Larry decided, you know what, this Drake, my team got it. I have to protect topside and maybe take care of Yone.
Absolutely. And, you know, Jadshot thinking No Hands Larry was there, you know, but No Hands Larry backs off, doesn't decide to TP, and just goes and picks up Jabshot and thinking that he had some free time alone in that top side. Right. And then also, we have a new sub, The Dad Show. Thanks to the big sub, Dad Show, one of the prominent members in the community. You know, also apparently having a second child, so big congratulations. Thanks for hopping in the stream and subscribing. Number 2. If you want to be the next person that does get shouted out, you know, hit that subscribe button, whether it is through Prime or just a normal subscribe, which is even better. We'll see you around. Thanks to Dad Show.
Yeah, Dad Show, you know, quite a big person in the community, always supporting us, always doing things for the community. Really, really appreciate it here.
Absolutely. Oh, I've always had great experiences with the Dad Show, whether it be at LANs or at tournaments like the ACL, so love to see him around. Hope he's around for even longer.
Yeah,
That sounds like
absolutely.
really bad, actually.
Yeah, it makes it sound like he's like about to leave us, but no, Dad Show's gonna be here for a while. We hope to see him a lot more in the community. Well, no, we don't. He's actually everywhere. Not that we don't want to see him. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's focus
Anyways,
back onto the
back to the
game.
game. Atacon has been spawned up. Let's see who will be the one to take it. Atacon, notoriously, you know, this is the place where you throw the game. You know, Atacon removes a ton of resistances, so you get really squishy. So let's see if Rock Bottom Gaming can capitalize on this Atacon take.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as they don't make the same mistakes as last time, you know, engaging on targets that are quite slippery, and they do have numbers advantage here, 5-on-4.
But it turns out, you know, everyone except this Mel is like extremely slippery. So whoever they're engaging on, you know, does have ways out.
That
And
is true. And Mel herself, you know, that untargetable ability reflect is quite annoying.
absolutely. Looks like Atacon will be started up by the side of Rock Bottom Gaming. Team Rock Solid recognizing this. Aurora is on a big flank here. Let's see what's going on. Atacon down to just about 4,000 HP. Yasuo goes on top. Tons of damage coming out. And seems like no one on the side of Team Rock Solid is going to fall. 3 for 0 for the side of Team Rock Solid here.
And an Otacot Atakan just into their belt. This is not going great for Rock Bottom Gaming.
Yeah. And in the meantime, this Herald was able to pick up his turret in the mid lane, so feeling
And they're
even
looking to
better.
get another crash on it.
Yeah. Basically the sixth champion in this game.
Yeah. They utilize the Rift Herald pretty well here, Rock Solid, massively furthering their lead.
Absolutely. Let's see what they can do now. They do have Otacon, great for damage and stats and gold value. But if you don't get those kills, don't get those petals, might not be as much value as you desire. Okay, Scoper might be getting caught out here. Is forced to use the moonlight. Is able to flash away, but this isn't kind of what you want to see here. Celestin fighting Piano G on this bot lane. Piano G is in range for that R. There's the popping sound. Piano G picks up another kill. 8, 1,
Yeah,
and 3.
Yeah, no,
Piano
this
G on
game
his
has
Mel.
not been in Bottom's favor at all. Early game they were going slightly even, and then everything started to go downhill really, really quickly.
Absolutely. Looks like they are looking for a play on Piano G. Scorpio dashes a minion, dashes on the top of Piano G, and we'll be able to pick up this kill? Just maybe?
The Mel... The Mel redirect does redirect the Diana Q, but Mel is running out of mana. Hits the root.
Absolutely.
Nautilus Slash. Oh. That should be it.
Yeah, is wasting a ton of time though. Force out a lot of summoner spells, and the overdive means no hands Larry picks up 2 more kills. 25 stack Medjais, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was definitely, as Baus would say, worth. But that's just, yeah, good death, I guess.
Absolutely. Scooby-Doo says the same thing. All chat going worth as well, so let's see how worth it is. Lots of gold over to this Diana. Let's see if they can make any use of it.
They're heavily protecting this tier 2 tower bot lane, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to protect it for long.
No hands
Aurora
Larry
just
instantly
absolutely
desecrate.
pops everywhere. Oh my god, their entire team was popped in the span of 5 seconds.
Just like that. Uppies though will be falling, taking some turret damage. Out9 Scooby-Doo might not be long for this world either, hitting another Grayskin. Potentially just walking away? Oh.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
Scorpio on this Diana going forward, hitting that Moonlight, whatever the R is called. But it's just not enough damage anymore.
Aurora does go down to the Diana. I know Rock Solid is pretty ahead, but they cannot be giving out shutdowns and other high gold value things to Rock Bottom Gaming. Although it may not matter, but Diana is getting quite a lot of gold recently.
Yeah. And crucially though, you've got to think about the stats. Because all of us will be able to see the stats on week 2 soon. But if you're giving over all these kills, all those stats as well, those stats aren't gonna, you aren't gonna be showing up on any of those, best KDAs, stats like that. But
yeah, no, I completely agree. I would love to see, like, everyone would love to see their name being like, oh, I had the most kills, oh, I had the biggest KDA difference. So we'll have to see if anyone from these games are going to be reflected on the stats.
Absolutely. Looking like another Infernal Drake will be coming out for Team Rock Solid. Let's see if they go pick up a Baron here. They might not even need it here. Aurora does go wide, so Peter P does get to live with his life.
Yeah, no, Rock Solid just has way too much control over the map here, They have vision over everything. They know exactly where Rock Bottom Gaming are. It's a pretty rough game to play where if you can't walk anywhere.
Absolutely. Out9 Scooby-Doo trying to get as much vision as possible, but one scuttle cleans out all these wards. Not too much they can do really. Looking like we will have the engage coming out. Jarvan Yasuo over Khan. This is the Wombo combo, and Talia goes down pretty much instantly here. Peter P, the next one up for the chopping board. Massive Yono connecting with 3. Uppies on Rakan falling as well. And suddenly this fight isn't looking as good as you thought. Piano G taking a ton of damage, Jabshine nearly killing him.
Jarvan goes in, Aurora is here, and Mel does go off, so this fight is definitely Rock Solid favored.
Absolutely. This might just be the game as well. Scoper diving back in, looking for another play. Is able to pick up No Hands Larry, but will he be able to live with his life?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is going to be very difficult for Scoper, to protect against three targets, two of them being extremely fed, the Mel and the Jarvan. So I don't know how Scoper is going to try and protect this tower.
Absolutely. Celestin is back up. Scooby-Doo on this Nautilus coming up pretty soon here, so it looks like the game won't end just yet. And now triple inhib means, they pretty much can't walk out of their base.
Yeah, this basically secures, Baron for Rock Solid and puts a lot of nails in that coffin.
Absolutely. Well, on the bright side though, Rock Bottom Gaming able to pick up a ton of extra minions and extra gold. Two supers in each wave means you get an extra 100 gold or so. So they might be a little bit happy, able to scale up a little bit longer, but I don't know how much longer this game will last.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be allowed to scale. Peter P having a feeling that, that something's nearby and trying to go to a different lane where they have a bit more vision.
Looking like Jack X on this Yasuo will be caught out, but let's see if Talia can stay alive here as well. Does have the R. Uh, Unfortunately, isn't able to buffer it, which means Celestin will just be fallen. Another kill for the side or for Piano G.
Ooh, Rakan W does go wide. Rakan hits the ultimate. Aurora comes in and yeah, well, we know the outcome of when Aurora appears in a team fight.
Absolutely. No Hands Larry playing pretty much flawless this whole game. Able to pick
Yeah,
up
no.
25 stacks on the Medjaz, currently only 23 though. And then even last game, was popping off on that cannon, so No Hands Larry looking for more action here, able to one-shot pretty much Jab Shine on this Yone. Which means basically a guaranteed Baron buff and game over pretty much whenever they decide.
You know what scares me the most about No Hands Larry? Imagine if he started playing with his hands. Now, how would we stop him then? This Aurora, this cannon, this just gameplay has been absolutely flawless and completely oppressive.
Absolutely.
It
How's he
was
playing
yeah,
without his hands though?
yeah,
You think
no,
it's the
he just
feet,
has
or you think he's playing with his mouth?
whatever appendage he uses, it must be the most skillful appendage on this planet because even with hands, some of us cannot reach that level of mechanics, that level of micro macro decisions. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely. Well, 29 minutes in, just about 13k gold lead is going to be Dragon Soul will be coming in just about a minute here, so let's see how they decide to clean it up or if Rock Bottom Gaming gets a second life in this game.
I see some spoilers going down in the Twitch chat, but we're gonna ignore those. We're just gonna assume they're, wishing each other a good game, see how the game comes out. Oof.
No Hands Larry, just 1E by the way, chunking Peter P down to just about 30% HP.
Yeah, that electrocute value this game is just insane for No Hands Larry. Oof.
Alright, Uppy's looking for an angle here. Jab shot in this Yone, instantly one shot. And, they're just fighting with their wallets now. It doesn't matter if it's a good fight, doesn't matter if it's a bad one. Team Rock Solid is coming out on top.
Yeah, no, this
Celestin,
game is just very, very rough. Aurora picks up the quadra kill, missing the penta, but, with a performance like this, is the pentakill even necessary?
absolutely. No Hands Larry coming out of the game going, ah, damn it, team. Who stole my kill?
Who stole my pentakill? But, yeah, that was a very, very rough game for Rock Bottom.
Absolutely. But, Team Rock Solid, third seed in the group. And, they come out pretty handily, beat Rock Bottom. And, last week as well, Rock Bottom absolutely decimated the 4C team. So it's a pretty interesting way to for this group to roll out.
Yeah, no, and we're looking at the damage charts here, No Hands Larry absolutely dominated the entire chart, going more than almost the entire team of Rock Bottom Gaming in the damage department. It was just a pretty
Absolutely.
rough game.
Right.
Aurora just completely dominated the game, didn't allow anyone to play the game, didn't allow anyone to make any plays.
Hmm. Absolutely. Pretty solid handedly. Let's see if we can get an interview from any of these guys here.
Yeah, it would be pretty nice to interview, No Hands Larry, showing everyone how much he can do without his hands.
Absolutely.
No, pretty rough game for Rock Solid. Not Rock Solid, sorry. Pretty rough game for Rock Bottom Gaming, but they hit rock bottom now, but they might. There's only one way to go. Can't go
True.
deeper. So,
Yeah, it's only up from here. So let's see what's going on. Okay. No hands Larry coming in. I'm about to pull you in. All right. Welcome, welcome, No Hands Larry.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Congratulations on the big 2-0 and incredible top lane play on the Kennen and Aurora. How does it feel? Get another win, or getting your first win of ACL.
Oh man, dude, we really need this fucking win compared to like last week. Oh my god, last week was a tragedy. So this win, it means the world to our team. I think.
Yeah. And then taking a look at last week, you guys got pretty handed by the first seed team coming back, playing against seed 2 here, Rock Bottom Gaming. What did you do to prepare for this game?
A lot of brawl. We've been brawling it up. We've been brawling 24/7, 7 days a week for this.
yeah,
There
no,
we
that
go.
We
was
got we our
incredibly
coaching staff did the
reflective.
pick and bans. I got to shout out them. Shout out my boy Avery. He's unregistered, which is maybe against the rules, but he was the goat for the series. I think.
Yeah,
There we
no, we
go.
could
There we
definitely
go.
see the brawl gameplay, the
Oh yeah,
micro
no, yeah,
from
no,
everyone.
yeah. As a unit, we're all about the. We don't have no strategy. We just fight it out. So the brawl game mode coming out, I think is really an advantage for this team.
There we
Yeah,
go.
no,
There we
because
go.
There we go. There
everyone
we go.
had insane mechanics, insane reactions from Piano G, from Time Monster, very
Yes.
quick rotations from everyone, not getting caught out, dodging all abilities. It was just a pretty impressive game overall.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Especially game one. I was gonna ask you. You were playing that Kennen top into Scion. You had Nefiri come top twice, and he come top as well. What was going through your mind in that game? You've been getting ganked, getting put
I
down as
know.
much as you can, and then you
I
come out
understand.
playing incredible 11-1.
I know. As the current kill leader, this is just expected. You're gonna be focused. You're gonna be. They're gonna target you. You're gonna have to do whatever you can to come out through on top. I kind of expected the ganks, to be honest, but he took a exhaust and it's Scion, so yeah, I was looking out for it, man. That's all I can really say. I worded up. They only got I think one gank off me that game. And just took first strike, farmed it out. That's all you can do.
That's what you like to see. That's what. Okay. Well, Larry, is there anything else you'd like to say to all of yours in ACL? Any of your fans? Anyone else in the team or in the game? In
Oh
this
yeah, okay.
league?
So to my fans, I love you guys. You guys mean the world to me. Mom, dad, you've been there by my side this whole time. And to my haters, hey, I'll see you in the playoff bracket. All right, there we go.
There we go. All right.
Thanks,
Thanks
y'all.
for the interview.
No problem, man.
We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Yep.
Congratulations on the big win as well.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
Congratulations, no hands there.
All right. Great interview from No Hands Larry. That's what you like to see. Big top lane, feeling pretty good about its performances. And anyways, that was the Rock Derby. Team Rock Solid versus Team Rock Bottom Gaming 2-0 for Rock Solid. Thanks everyone for
Slightly
watching.
disappointed we didn't see the Malphite, but
But we did see Talia, also pretty rocky. The performance was pretty rocky as well. But that'll be it for us. That was I'm Terrence, joined by my co-caster Ali, and then our incredible observer producer Nano Skygen. All right, we see y'all later.
thank you, everyone.